Okay, so today we are going to talk about time. Um, Now, this subject is very controversial, and a lot of people, I don't know. Some people think time actually exists, and some people doesn't. Um, in my book, it only valid. Remember that word, and I'm going to use that a lot. It is only valid to those that count. But time does not exist at all. Is it an illusion? Yeah, you can call it an illusion. But in the end, it is only valid to those who count. Okay? And I'm going to make an example for you. And that's what this paper is for. Let's say this is me. And I am in the USA. Okay. Now, I have a friend in Egypt. Okay. Now, I have another friend in Australia. So, Egypt and Australia. Okay. Now, I'm going to make this really simple. Let's say if I fly to here, it takes 8 hours. Okay? If I fly from here to here, it is another 8 hours, so it'll be 16 hours. No, this is not accurate. I'm just making an example for you. So this is 0 hour. This is 8. And this is 16. Okay. If I start flying from here to here, this friend here only wait for 8 hours. While this friend here have to wait 16 hours. When I get to here, I become 0. From here to here, I become 8. Now, once I get to here, this friend here, time is no longer valid because it becomes 0. Now, this friend here becomes 8. If I fly from here to here, and I got to here, this friend become 8, and this friend becomes 0. Now, if I fly back, this friend would have to wait 8 hours for me to get there. And if I get there, this friend's become 8, and this friend's become 0. But when I get to here, this friend here becomes a 0. So this friend here is no longer valid. Time is no longer valid because I am here with this friend. While this friend here would have to wait for another 8 hours for me to show up. But here's the thing. What if this friend said, you know what? I don't care what time you're going to come. I don't care if it takes you 16 hours, takes you 1 minute. I don't care. I don't care. Now this friend becomes 0. Because he no longer care. He no longer count. So if he doesn't count, even though in reality, in the illusional world, it would take 8 hours. But what if this friend here said, you know what, the hell with you? I'm I'm not going to I am not going to count. I'm not counting. So this friend here becomes 0. Remember, I am here, okay? I am at 0. This friend's become 0 now. Because this friend no longer cares. This friend's here no longer counting. So it doesn't count for him no more. It's no longer valid. Time is no longer valid for him. Why I'm here, time is no longer valid for him. He doesn't care. He said, okay, if it takes you 1,000,000 years to come here, I don't care. If it takes you 1 minute to get here, if it takes you 8 hours to get here, if it takes you 1,000,000 to get here, I don't care. That's when time becomes invalid. Now here's the thing. This is why Einstein, he added space and time. As you know, the only differences from here to here and from here to here is space. And that's why he added space and time. But in reality, time does not exist. If I was able to travel faster than light, I would get here in seconds. Even though it's going to be 8 hours. Let's say if I travel from the speed of light, it'll take me like, let's say, 16 seconds. Or actually 8 seconds. Then time, even though from space between here and here is pretty far, it is no longer valid because it took me only 8 seconds. Instead of 8 hours, it'll take me 8 seconds. During that time, though, that 8 seconds is still valid. But this person here, this friend here, doesn't have to wait long. And then what if he said, you know what? I don't care if it takes you 8 hours or 8 seconds. I don't care. Just get here. And guess what? 8 hours or 8 seconds, it is no longer valid. It's not valid. And that's how that works. So, if people say that time actually exists, no, it doesn't exist. It is just like how they said it, probably best, an illusion. Time is an illusion. Now here's another thing. I'm going to skip this. I'm going to draw you something else. Let's say this is the sun. And this is the earth. What if, okay, as you all know, the sun doesn't move. But when you're on the earth, the sun moves. Huh? Isn't that an illusion? Yeah, 100%. The sun is actually stabilized, stable, or stand still. We actually move. So it feels like the sun moves. We stay still. Now what if, let's say, because of that, we think of time. Because since the sun moves, it's actually us that moving, but in reality, the sun doesn't move, we are moving, and as we move, we see the sun moves, and if the sun moves, we think it's a different time. But guess what? All those times the sun is still staying in the same spot. We moved. So the illusion of time, because of the shadows or because of things, we think that we are actually moving in time. But we're not. It comes back again. Time, in this case, is invalid. If you were on the sun, and the earth is shining, then you would see the earth shines differently as it moves. Same principle. But remember, we're still in the same circle. So no matter where we go, no matter what time it is, whatever it is, well, as you already know, time was invented by human. But as you know, wherever we go, which way we go, we're still in the same circle. So time doesn't really exist. And that's how, just as simple as that, as I can explain it. So when we move to here, we look up here, the sun's actually this way. If we move it to over here, the sun's actually this way. So the illusion of the sun makes us think that we moved. Actually, the sun moved, sorry. But the sun actually stabilized. If we were here, we would think the sun is over here. If we're over here, sun was straight up. If we were over here, we would think that the sun is on our left. If we were here, the sun's on the right. But all that time, the sun is standing still. We are the one that moves. So when we move, we look at the sun because it's on the left, on the right, or in the center, or whatever. We think that we are moving through time. An illusion of time is created. But in reality, just because we move does not mean that time exists. Space exists, but time doesn't exist. Because we move it from here to here, it takes us, let's say it takes us 3 hours. 3, 3, 6, and 12, or 24. Why we spin. So, let's say the circumference is 365 days. Let's say here is every, I don't know, 3 months or something. So when we get to here, we see the sun a little bit differently. But it takes us 3 months. In reality, we feel like it's 3 months. But wait a minute. We're still here. We're just in a different spot of space. That's it. And that's why we go around the sun like it always was. But here's the thing. On Earth, we think the sun moves. But in reality, the sun doesn't move. We move. So it gave us an illusion of time. But in reality, the sun just stands still. Well, the sun actually do not stand still. The sun actually moves with the galaxy. And in billions and billions and billions of years ago, if this still exists and everything, we're going to see our sky totally different. Because it's going to move to another spot. Our sky is going to see all different things. Not like we see today. Of course, we all know, all of us can't live that long to see it. The sky today. Maybe what are we, about 4 billion years? Let's say 2 billion years ago, the sky probably looked totally different than the sky today. Maybe a minute, not too much, because remember, as they said, it's 100. What is it? Well, they estimate. We're not sure. It circulate around the whole galaxy. It takes like 100 billion years. So we don't live long enough to see any of those stuff. Or what? No, wait. Not billions, but okay, if they said 170, well, they said it's about 170 to 225 million light years across. Well, if we do go around that far, it would take us that long. We don't live that long to see it anyway. So it doesn't really matter. We're just seeing a little tiny spot of what this big thing is. So let's get back to here, to time. So in reality, time doesn't exist at all. It is only exists to those who count. It is only valid to those who count. So let's get back to here. If this person, if this friend here and this friend here do not count, they said, okay, 8 hours, 24 hours, 16 hours, whatever, I don't care, just come. Then these two times, if these just say, okay, whatever, whenever you come, you come. If you don't come, you don't come. Then these two friends, time is no longer valid to these two. Although they were waiting for me, but they don't care. So they made it invalid. They made time invalid when they say, I don't care what time you're going to go. It doesn't matter. So now, this friend here and this friend here, time is invalid for both of them because they don't care what time I'm going to come there. Let's say, okay, I jump on an airplane and I said to this friend, all right, I'm going to get there in Egypt in 8 hours. And then I'm going to say hello, and then I'm going to go to the next one in another 8 hours. So this is a total of 16 hours. These two friends like, you know what? I don't care what time you come. I'm going to do my stuff. I'm going to do my things. And if you come, you come. If you don't come, you don't come. I don't care. That means these two is no longer valid. Although I'm sitting on the airplane, I'm going to say, oh man, it's going to take me 8 hours to get here. And it's going to take me 16 hours to get here. What if I say the same thing? What if I sit here and I say, you know what? If it's going to take 8 hours, the hell with it. If it's going to take 16 hours, the hell with it. I don't care what time I'm going to be over there. I don't care. I'm just going to read a book and just discover. Maybe I'll just watch a movie or whatever and just forget about time. If I say I forget about time, then time from here to here, in reality, it will take 8 hours. If we count them, it will take 8 hours. And then it will count this one, it will take another 16 hours. But all that time there, all that time, if I don't count them, it doesn't matter. I'll find something to do. Let's say I find something to do and I just ignore time. By the time I got to here, in reality, if you start the clock, it took 16 hours. But if I say I don't care, all that time there is lost. Doesn't matter. Now you see what I'm saying? So time becomes invalid. It is only valid to those who count. That's it. And I believe that's why Einstein said it best. And Einstein have proven best, or stated best, time, space. He did not say time separately. He did not say space separately. Time, space. They finally add those together because here's the thing. Time is not valid. Space is. But when you count the time, the space between here and here is 8 hours. The space between here and here is 8 hours. So we know that it's 8 hours and plus 8 hours. But what if we don't count the time? The space is still the same amount. Let's say, I'm going to make it simple again. It takes 8 miles to here, and another 8 miles to here. Regardless how slow or how fast you move, it is still 8 miles. You see what I'm saying? Let's say this, I'm going to make it so 8 miles total. If I just take an hour and I'm going to rest, I'm going to take another hour, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take another hour, I'm going to rest. I'm going to take another hour, I'm going to rest. Let's say it takes me 16 hours from here to here, even though it's only 8 hours. But I rest, I blah, 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 whatever. I do my things, whatever. It takes me 16 hours this time. The miles doesn't change. And then let's say if I come from here to here, I happen to go really fast, faster than 8 hours. Let's say I was able to jump really fast. Remember how I say, let's say even seconds. Let's say it takes me 8 seconds. If I jump 8 seconds and I get here, the miles does not change whatsoever. This does not change. Space doesn't change. Time did. But does it matter? If I took 10 days to get to Egypt, or another 10 days to get to Australia, does it matter? No. What if I enjoy my time in the middle? What if I enjoy this and what if I enjoy that? All that time, my enjoyment counts. This time didn't count because I didn't count time. I counted my enjoyment, but I didn't count time. But the space, the 8 miles, did not change whatsoever what I do between these 3 points. No matter what I do within these 3 points, here, 1, 2, and 3, the miles, the distance, the space does not change whatsoever. Time did. How can you change time? You can't change time, but you can, because time doesn't count, because time is an illusion. Like I said, what if I take 16 hours to get from here to here, but in between I stop, smell the roses, and then another time I'll take another 16 hours. I still smell plenty of roses, but it was still the same thing. I still travel 8 miles each way. So the space from here to here did not change. The space from here to here did not change. But time changed. Huh? How can time change? Time can't change. But hey, I went slower. I wanted to do other things. I want to look at other things. I want to enjoy other things. I want to smell the roses before I get to Egypt. What if I do the same thing from here to here? I want to smell more roses before I get to Australia. So now it becomes longer. But it doesn't matter. It didn't matter. Because I get to stop. I get to enjoy myself. I get to do whatever. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter. But the distance is still the same. The space did not change. Time did. But space did. Even if you get from here to here within 2 seconds, the miles is still the same. Another 2 seconds is still the same. But wait a minute. Hey, I took an airplane and it took 8 hours, 16 hours total, but I was able to go 2 seconds. Huh? Time now has been changed. But wait a minute, we can't time change. We can't change time. Yes, we did. We went from here to here within 2 seconds, while it took 8 hours. But did the space change? The 8 mile change? Nope. It's still the same. Regardless how fast or slow you move, space does not change. And that's why time is just an illusion. Time is not real. Time does not exist. It is only valid to those who count. That's how I always said it. Time is only valid to those who count. That's it. That's the best way I can put it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video.